So we are holding now at the beginning of Sicha Yud Tes and Sichos HaRan. This is the third of the series of Sichos we talked about last time that talk primarily about Torah, Limud Torah, Sichos that um, you could be comfortable with, even if you're not a chassid. So Sicha Yud Tes begins as follows. He says, "Va'amar." Rabbi Nachman says, "Nechsafti ma'od lahamshich es ha'olam el ha'asiyah." Rabbi Nachman says, "I desired very, very much to draw the world down into asiyah, into practice, to activity. Um, Not only to think good thoughts and feel good feelings, but also to actually bring the ritzonos and bring the kisufim and bring the gaguim and bring the desire and bring the intention that is so important throughout the writings of Rabbi Nachman to bring it actually out into practice. And one of the things, the important thing that I wanted to bring, he says, into Pu'ula, bring out into the world of action, to actualize it, not just to have it be good ideas or good intentions, not only to feel good about yourself and to feel like you have a relationship with Kadosh Baruch Hu and that you have a Nakuda Tov and all of that, but the thing that you actually have to do, the thing that I'm trying to get people to do is to learn, and not just to learn Torah, but that each and every one, each and every person, he doesn't distinguish between men and women. He doesn't distinguish between adults and children. Each and every person, and as he will go on afterwards in paragraph B, is not between people who are Shomrei Torah mitzvos or people who are not Shomrei Torah mitzvos. Doesn't matter how frum you are. Every single person, lilmod kach v'kach b'chol yom v'yom, that every single person should have something, a set amount, a set thing that they're going to learn each and every single day, v'lo yavar, without any exception. Every single day, I'm committed to this. To have consistency, the root of hasmada, the core of learning. To be a masmid in learning is not about how intensely you learn; it's how consistently you learn. Hasmada is about tamidas; it's about consistently learning, not learning more, not learning less, but doing so with consistency. And his whole desire, Rabbi Nachman's desire, was to bring people to a place where they are committed to and actually actualizing their commitment to learn something specific, an actual specific commitment every single day without any exception. The Shulchan Aruch brings this down. So you could be following Rabbi Nachman and also be a Shulchan Aruch Yid all at the same time, thank God. And the Shulchan Aruch brings down that you have to have a kaviyas in learning. This is what the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says, right? I'll say Torah keva, to make your Torah learning keva, and to make other things arai. What does it mean to make your Torah keva? So it means to set aside either an amount of time or a particular goal in learning. I'm going to learn X number of hours or X number of minutes every single day at this and this time, or I'm going to learn this amount of Torah, a parak of Rambam, 3 parakim of Rambam, 2 Mishnayos, Daf Yomi, whatever it happens to be, but every single day I'm committed to doing it. That's keva. As opposed to things that are arai, which is I'll do it when I have time, I'll do it if other things are not getting in the way. But Lima Torah has to be keva, he says. When a person says Kriya Shema two times a day, 3 times a day, I think, to me at least, it's really important that when we say the first paragraph of Kriya Shema, we say the dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veisecha v'lechtecha b'derech t'shachbecha uvkumecha. To actually be mechavein, like where am I showing up with that? If I'm saying in Kriya Shema, the dibarta bam, that I am committing to and I'm appreciating the obligation to be engaged in learning Torah, to be talking about Torah, to be osek in Torah when I'm at home, when I'm traveling. So where was I today? Did I learn at home when I'm sitting at home and in my home life? Did I find time to learn? Did I find something to learn? And the same thing that I'm traveling from place to place. I'm going from place to place. I'm going to work. I'm going to the grocery store. I'm walking down the street. Are there times when I am moving from place to place and I'm osek in Torah as well, and I'm engaged in Torah. I'm fulfilling vidibar tabam. Do I learn in the morning? B'shachbucha. V'kumecha. Do I learn at night? Do b'shachbucha. It has to be keva. And Rabbi Nachman is emphasizing this is really, really critically important. He says if there's one thing that's going to be actualized from all the things that I'm talking about, it should be this, that there should be actual limud Torah taking place, not just good feelings, not just fluffy spiritual avodas Hashem, but actual hardcore learning. Whether it's a lot, whether it's a little, but it has to happen. It has to happen in practice. The Mishnah Berurah, I'm not often prone to quote the Mishnah Berurah, but the Mishnah Berurah commenting on the Shulchan Aruch talks about daily limud Torah and Siman Reish Lamed Ches in Orach Chaim, which is sort of after the whole morning Seder Yom and after the laws of Tefillah, and before getting into the next, getting into Hilchos, before he gets into Hilchos Shabbos and a few simanim later. But in Reish Lamed Ches, the Shulchan Aruch talks about the obligation to learn Torah. And the Mishnah Berurah comments over there that the importance of daily learning Torah is because lo ya'acher zeh ad yom acher, that it's important to, the Shulchan Aruch says that if you have what you're supposed to learn that day, and that's kavua to you, so you have to learn it that day. And if you don't have time that day because something else gets in the way, because we all have other obligations, so you have to make sure to make it up at night. Whatever it is that you're committed to, again, whether it's amount of time, whether it's an amount of content, personally, I think it's better to commit to an amount of time rather than an amount of content, because oftentimes the content that we're able to cover is out of our control. The amount of time we are able to commit is within our control. We can learn for an hour and not cover much ground because we're not understanding, and it's very hard. If we're going to commit to an amount of content and actually try to understand that content, it could take an hour, it could take 5 hours, and then you really find out that you can get thrown off a little bit. So there's a value in focusing on time, perhaps, rather than content. At the same time, in another sense, there can also be value in focusing on content rather than time. Because if I focus on content, then I also have to experience and work on a little bit of bittul, because I'm not always going to understand. If I'm going to learn daf yomi, some dafs I have time for, and some dafs are very, very hard, and I won't have time to fully understand, and I have to move on. I have to just accept that I tried, I did my best, I spent the time on daf yomi that I could, I went through the daf, I understand yesterday at 100%, and today I understand only 30%, and 30% is going to be good enough today, because that's what I was allowed, that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu let me understand, and I'm going to move on from that and keep going. So there can be value in either direction, but the core is to make it keva, and the core is to focus on fulfilling whatever commitment I've made today. I'm going to fulfill that obligation today. But the Shulchan Aruch's emphasis on making it up, right? If I don't get to it during the day, I have to make it up at night. Before tomorrow comes along, I have to take care of today's learning. And the Mishnah Berurah comments that you have to lo ya'acher zeh ad yom acher. Don't wait until tomorrow to make up yesterday's, right? I missed today's daf, so I'm going to do 2 tomorrow. So number one, we know how that goes, because pretty soon I find myself 70 daf behind. And most people, this throws them off. There are some people, there are people I know who very, very exceptionally are like perpetually, 70, 80, 90 dafs behind, right? Especially at this point in the cycle of daf yomi, because they don't force them, they're not killing themselves to make up all the things that they miss. I missed yesterday. Okay, so I'm going to continue learning tomorrow. And now, and over time, it balloons into many, many dafs behind. But they have enough bittul and they have enough presence to sort of say, it's okay if I'm not on time with everybody else. Where everybody else is good, and where I am is where I am, and I'm going to finish Shas 90 days after everybody else. How cool is that? You're going to finish Shas 90 days after everybody else instead of not finishing at all because you are trying to finish it with everybody else. But the importance is to make it up that night, make it up before the next day, because because each day is its own obligation. I can't do today's learning tomorrow, because tomorrow is tomorrow's learning. If today's day goes past and the learning that I was going to do today, the commitment I made today goes and it passes and now it's gone, I can never make that up ever again. because it was today's learning. Every day has its own avoda. The Arizal says this, and others say this very, very clearly and very emphatically. Every day has its own avoda. Every day has its own mitzotzos to be mala. And missing today's means that they're gone for today, and I can make up tomorrow. I can do tomorrow, but I can't make up today tomorrow because it's tomorrow, not today. It's a bria chadasha tomorrow. It's an entirely new reality and an entirely new universe. Today's reality is gone, and tomorrow is a brand new reality. Yasa es shalo ba'avodasa. What's in front of me today, I have to do in front of me today, and focus on that, and we'll worry about tomorrow. He continues and he says, "Va'amar shafilu osan hanashim harachokim min hakadusha ma'od." Even those people who are very, very, very far from kedusha, shenel kedu mitzuda ra osher ragilam ba'averes chas v'shalom rachmana litzlan rachmana l'shizvan. There are people who are trapped in a fortress of badness. They're imprisoned in their mistakes. They're imprisoned in avoda. They're in averos. They're ragilim ba'averos. They're habituated to all kinds of averos, and they do these averos, and that's what they do. Afal pk, nevertheless, he says, hakach shel Torah gadol kol kach ad sheyachol lahotzi osam min averos sheragilim behem chas v'shalom. Torah is so great and so powerful that it can draw them even out of all of the averos that they already contained in. And if you make a commitment that you're going to learn X, whatever, X time, X amount every single day, no matter what's going on, no matter what you did a moment before you learned, and no matter what you do a moment after you learn, you're going to do the learning that you committed to doing, and you're going to engage in Torah, whatever part of Torah you decide to engage in. In Adam Lomed Ella Bimakom and Meimakom Shalibo Chafetz, but you have to start with the things that you're connected to and that you're inclined to do, and you're going to do that, and from there it'll spread out hopefully to all other areas of Torah, but you're going to learn what you want to learn for the amount of time that you're committed to learning, and you're going to keep that commitment. The Torah will certainly draw you out and bring you out of whatever you're trapped in, because the koach of Torah is very, very great. We see something here, I think, very important. Number one, the order of operations is Torah first, fixing all of the other problems you have after. If you are going to wait until you're a pure specimen to be able to approach Torah, then you're not going to be a pure specimen. Torah itself is the mikveh that can be matahir you. Torah itself is the thing that you have to engage in dafka when you're engaged in all sorts of other things and stuck with averos and habituated with all kinds of averos. If you don't stop the learning, and you keep your commitments and you keep learning, then you'll move out of those other things, either through the aseh tov, pushing out the sur meirah, the idea that adding light is going to get rid of darkness, and memela, all of the reasons for engaging in the averos and the other things that you don't want to be doing and you're trying to avoid, they will fall away, and those things will fall away of their own accord. But Torah will pull you out of these things. Rabbi Nachman even says in HaRan, where it records in HaRan this teaching, where Rabbi Nachman spoke out this Sicha, it's recorded that Rabbi Nassan asked Rabbi Nachman specifically, "Is this apply even to Bali Aver?" And Rabbi Nachman replied to him that Lima Torah is even higher and better and more important than Shmiras Habris. Oftentimes people get worked up over the averas that they're involved in, and I have to deal with this avera and prevent that avera and correct this and correct that, and you get so shakua, you get so wrapped up and immersed in like fighting fights head on, fighting fights with your Yitzhara, fighting fights with all of them, the different struggles that you have. When all he says you have to do is you can circumvent them entirely, you can flank. You can accomplish a flank attack on the enemy instead of trying to fight the thing you're trying to fight. Just learn Torah. Go back, learn Torah, learn more Torah, and if you're learning the right kind of Torah, then the other things will fall away eventually. You'll come back. You'll be drawn out of those other things. You'll come back to a place of a better equilibrium, a better shmiras hamitzvos, of better shmira from averos. But you have to stick yourself in somewhere. With Torah. That's the core. That's the core. Rabbi Nachman says, "Halavai osi azvu v'torasi shamru," as the Medrash in Eicha says. How much better it would be, Hashem says, that give up on me, forget me, run to do all the averos in the world, but be shomer Torah, keep a schedule of Torah, keep learning, and all the rest will, Emer Hashem, fall into place on its own. If you remain committed that way, bahasmada, with tamidos, with consistency, as Rabbi Nachman here is suggesting, we'll continue Sicha Yud Tes tomorrow with the next couple of paragraphs. Be'ezras Hashem, have a wonderful day.